Atomy Mino knives. So this was also an exciting product because it was with the laundry detergent sheets that have launched this week. Hopefully everyone's happy with that. I remember the last training that we did was on the laundry detergent sheets as well. Just give me a second. There's a few people waiting to be admitted. I will just admit them now. There we go. Yeah, so the last product training that we did was on the laundry detergent sheets. But our Mino knives were launched first, and that was our debut into the living product line, which is great because I know you guys have been really, really patient and waited for more variety of products. And living products are actually a line of products that we're looking to focus on a little bit more this year. So hopefully you should see more living products as we go into this year. But yeah, I would say for this particular product, the three key words to think about when you are either using the product or selling the product is performance, hygiene, and design. And I'll kind of explain why as we go on with the training for this product. You'll see. But this product basically encapsulates all three of those words. So the first thing to know about the Mino knives, one of the biggest selling points of this particular product is the fact that, again, this is not a product that was manufactured by Kolmar. It's manufactured in Japan by a Japanese company called Kaiji Lucy. And the fact that the product has been made in Japan is a really, really big selling point. Japan is known to be one of the most major countries that exports and manufactures knives. They obviously have a huge history of samurai knives and swords, but also they do produce kitchen knives and swords in general. So that is one of the points that makes them really premium. Um, the Mino knives themselves are a specific type of knife that have over 110 years of history. And as I mentioned, these knives are produced by a manufacturer called Kaiji Lucy, or Kai for sure. And they are a major, major shareholder in Japan for as a blade company. They hold about 45% of domestic knife market in Japan, which is really, really huge. And they also export to several countries and regions such as the US, Europe, and Asia. And as I mentioned, Japan has a really long history of culinary craftsmanship. A particular region that's known for knives and blades is the Seki City in Gifu Prefecture, which is in the very center of Japan, I believe. And this is where a lot of the techniques were developed and have been developed over 800 years. So really, really long history and time for producing these high quality knives and being really renowned for their amazing sharpness and reliability. And I just want to give a quick side note here that I actually gave these Mino knives to my dad for Christmas. And we were cooking together. And when we used them, we were just like completely blown away by the sharpness of the knife. Actually, before that point, I hadn't had a chance to use the product myself. So yeah, I will say they are really sharp knives, which is obviously a great thing in terms of cooking. But please be careful, guys, when you use them because you have to know they're very, very sharp, which is great when you're cooking, but also could be a little bit dangerous. So just be careful with that. And I'll explain why they're so sharp because they've gone through a multi-stage heat treatment. This is quite different from other regular knives kitchen knives that you can buy on the market. So they've been through a kind of process that is done in different stages and goes through different like cooling and then heated stages. Another thing is that rather than only using regular stainless steel, this product uses lots of different kinds of stainless steel, including one called high carbon, which incorporates two different kinds of stainless steel, which are very difficult for me to pronounce, unfortunately. I'll give it my best shot. There's one called molybdenum and then one called vanadium. So those are the two types of carbons that are within this specific type of stainless steel. The reason for this is that these high carbon stainless steels sit between the traditional stainless steel in the product and standard stainless steel that we know, but give you the best of both, which means that you get the most out of the cutting precision, etc. And it also lasts a lot longer without causing damage. And then as you can see, it's gone through the multi-stage heat treatment for the sharpness of the product. So it goes through lots of different stages, but to really simplify it into 4 stages, I've put here that first it goes through a heating stage, then it goes through a cooling stage, then again heated in a temper stage, and finally it gets polished to be the blade that we see. Ooh. So as I mentioned, this results in unbeatable sharpness and precision. So I've put here because I think it's important to note that normally with typical stainless steel knives, you get them and they can be sharp at first and you could be like, oh, it's not much different from other knives, but eventually it will dull very, very quickly. And even when you try to resharpen the knife, it won't ever restore to its previous glory. But the Atomy high quality carbon stainless steel that this particular product uses gives it a really, really sharp edge. And also, even after it starts to dull ever so slightly, you can then resharpen again, and it will definitely go back to the same amount of sharpness and use that you could get out of it from the very beginning. So it will stay like a new product for much, much longer. So in terms of the design of the product, just to note that it is really beautiful and sleek. The main thing is that it has a really comfortable hand grip. So it's anti-slip, which obviously reduces the risk of accidents or losing grip. And also it has a ergonomic handle design, which also helps to provide the grip, but also gives very smooth lines, which means that it's going to be a lot more comfortable in your hand and safer. And when we talk about hygiene, this is a key component of the product. The reason is that most knives use different kind of bolsters or handles. So with the Atomy knife, this is fully using the stainless steel throughout the product. So it means that you can't get any like bacteria or food stuck in the product anywhere. It won't get stuck in the handle, which is often what happens with the cheaper knives or the knives that have like different materials on the edge. So whilst some of them will use like wood at the bottom and it can look quite aesthetically pleasing or just looks better in your kitchen, but actually this is a much more hygienic use of the product. And you will see as well that a lot of professional chefs will use these kind of knives that don't have any changes in the materials throughout the product because it's much more hygienic to use. And also it means that it's going to be a lot more durable and resistant to corrosion or wear. You can clean it again and again, and it won't change in terms of shine, efficacy, etc., etc., making it perfect for everyday kitchen usage. And I've just done a slide as well because I think the main thing with the Mino knives and from the feedback is that obviously they come across when you first look at them as super expensive. Like most people will not be able to justify like, oh, that's such a lot of money to be spending on a household daily item such as a knife, which at a first glance, yes, definitely it's a lot to pay. But I want to put it into kind of perspective. So when you get the average cheaper knife, which let's say costs from about £10 to £30, they tend to be made from lower quality steel, as we've talked about. The Atomy product uses a different kind of stainless steel, several different types of stainless steel, which are often superior. They can withhold in different kinds of temperatures and will stay sharper for longer. And so often with the lower quality steels, they tend to wear and dull very quickly. And that also means that with the Stirling, you will have to replace the product roughly every 2 to 5 years if you're using it regularly, which most of us are. Then, if you frequently sharpen the product, because obviously you want it to be restored to its glory, but often this will not actually restore it effectively because already the damage is done with the stainless steel. So you will not be able to get the sharpness like with the premium knife. So to put it into cost perspective, let's say you bought the basic knife at around £15 and you have to replace it every 3 years. So over 15 years, you'd be spending about £75 in replacement cost, and that's not counting in any inconvenience to yourself to have to go and find new knives, buy new knives, sharpen the knives, etc., etc. But with the premium knives, such as an Atomy Mino knife that uses the different types of stainless steel and the ergonomic design, let's say if you had bought the set of two at £150, and then it would last you 15 years, that would be roughly £10 a year, which is going to be a lot less expensive long term than replacing the budget knives repeatedly. This also means that, let's say, even if we factor in that you went to a specialist to get them sharpened, you're still going to be paying a lot less for the product in general. So as we mentioned, the higher grade steel, better heating treatment helps to keep the durability of the product. We say that often you can keep this product from 10 years or 20 plus years, depending on how you maintain them. If you maintain them very, very well, definitely you'll get the over 20 years of maintenance. If you're a little bit heavy-handed with them and not looking after them as well, it may be between 10 to 15 years. And they also maintain the sharpness and resharpen. You can resharpen them professionally if needed. It shouldn't be necessary, but definitely if you want to keep them on top form, that could be an option. And as I mentioned, with the less frequent replacement, it means a lower cost per year. So in the long run, it would probably work out better to go with the premium knives, such as the Atomy Mino knives.